Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. I have two distinguished young men as guests today. They are the top two officers in the Junior ROT, the Marine Corps Junior ROTC program here in Tullahoma. And they are very, as I say, they're very distinguished and very active competitors in their field, and we are going to talk about that and talk a little bit about them and their future. They are, on my immediate left is Lieutenant Colonel Levi Burns, who is the commander, I guess, and next to him Sergeant Major Landon Fanning, and he is the he's the Sergeant Major, as I said. And these two are the top two officers. And they both have future military plans, and we'll get into those a little bit. So thanks, guys, for joining us. And tell us a little bit, Levi, about your anything you want to say about yourself, plus your future.
I play soccer for the high school, and I'm basically just a regular kid. Anybody could do what I do. And so I was just given a better opportunity than some, but anybody could do what I do.
I see. But not everybody does. And you're a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
And you have plans?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
I'm applying right now to West Point, the military academy, but I'm still waiting on word for that.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully that'll go through.
Any way to gauge whether you where you stand? Are you pretty confident you'll get one?
I think I'm pretty confident right now. I'm still waiting for word about a nomination or anything from one of the Congress people, but yeah. I think it's a fair shot right now.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Landon, how about you?
Well, I'm also a senior at the high school. I swim on the swim team, and like he said, I'm just a regular kid too. Just
you are? Huh.
Lucky
Okay.
to be in the program.
And your future plans?
I plan on going to the University of Nebraska at Lincoln and studying animal biology.
Animal biology?
Yes, sir. And
okay.
hopefully from there, I can commission into the United States Marine Corps as a second lieutenant.
Okay. And why do they need somebody knows so much about animals?
Well, they just need somebody with a bachelor degree.
True.
Okay. They get the animals for free, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then, folks, let's take a short commercial break, and we'll come back and get into their activities.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Tired of paying for monthly telephone service, expensive long-distance bills, and all those crazy taxes? Are you sick of spending money on telephone equipment, maintenance contracts, and service calls, all for a phone system that shackles you to 100-year-old technology and your desk? Stop it. It's time to ship your phone system to the cloud. What can the cloud do for you? Bring together remote offices, workers, and employees in the field. Make sure that you'll never miss calls by delivering them to multiple devices. Modernize faxing by allowing multiple faxes to be sent and received at once. And deliver to email. Get your voicemail messages instantly through email too. And take advantage of an endless supply of customizable features. Host My Calls can deliver the cloud. All of this technology with low upfront costs and not one penny in capital expense. It's time for a phone solution you'll truly love from Host My Calls. Call the number below.
We're back, folks, and we're talking today with the top 2 officers in the junior ROTC, the Marine Corps. I keep forgetting to give them credit. The Marine Corps Junior ROTC here at Tullahoma High. They're a very competitive bunch. They're in a couple of competitions a semester and have been for several years. And they've just recently finished a competition at Hazel Green and came away with a pretty good record, and so we want to hear about that. I'll at least give them credit so they don't have to blow their own horn too hard. They walked away from that event with the #1 overall competition, and they were with 11 or 12 Alabama ROTC units. So pretty good. Tell us about the competitions then. There, and you were the only one from Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
All the rest of them were from Alabama. And so, as I say, you are credited with stealing the show. Had first place in the overall competition. And then, in more specifically, you were #1 in at least 2 events. There are a total of 9 events, as I recall, that you took part in. So, what are the two? What are the 2 that you won first in?
I believe it was unarmed exhibition.
And platoon armed.
Was it platoon armed? I thought it was color guard.
Unarmed what?
Unarmed exhibition. Exhibition's like trick drill, where you see people spin rifles and everything.
Yeah.
So unarmed is where we just didn't have rifles.
Trick drill. Didn't have rifles. Okay. And that's the difference, folks. They've got armed and unarmed events, and the difference is in the armed events you're carrying a weapon, and unarmed you're not. So, okay, and then you had 2 second-place events also. Do you remember which those were?
It was
Platoon unarmed.
platoon unarmed and the other color guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then in none of the, let's see, that's 2, 4, the rest of the 5 events, they were never less than 3rd place. So first place overall competition. Tell the folks a little bit about what the competition is, what the event is. The first place event, for example, what did you, armed or unarmed, what is the event? What do you do? Describe it a little bit.
So each event, depending on whether it's a platoon or a squad, is the squad is just a smaller version of a platoon.
Right.
There's about 8 people in a single file, rather than 12 people over 4 squads. And you just go down the card, whatever the movements are, and you march them around the deck in accordance with whatever the card says.
Huh. What does the card say? I don't understand. What are they doing?
Movements.
It's the list of movements in order that we have to do. That way everybody has the same.
What are you calling a movement?
Something like left face, forward march, column right, things like that.
All right. Okay. So, and you do those armed and unarmed. How about the second place events?
They're pretty much
Go ahead, Angela.
they're pretty much the same as far as the cards go.
You mean the movements are pretty much the same?
Yes, sir. They're pretty much the same. The main difference is how we perform. That's because us as commanders, we're given the card a month in advance, and we're told to memorize it. So for any kind of thing other than first place is on us if we don't remember a command or somebody just executed a command better than we did. And sometimes it's just by 1 or 2 points that is the difference between first place and second place. So
you're given this card, you have to memorize it, and how many items are on that card?
Roughly
Anywhere from 40 to 60.
Are we basically talking about drill You're just the unit's moving,
Yes,
whether
sir.
it's
Yes, sir.
forward, backward, left flank, right flank, whatever. It's the military maneuvers that we frequently see them performing. And is there a well, I neglected folks to ask these lads to bring their trophies with them. The newspaper recently had a picture of them with a couple of their trophies. So, Philip, here we go. Those, I guess, are, I don't know if you can remember, that it doesn't come through very clear, but you can see the size of their trophies, which are pretty handsome. And you guys are in a lot of competitions. You must have a sizable trophy room down at the high school, do you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got any idea how many trophies are in it?
There's no telling, sir.
There is a lot. Sergeant Major had me count the number that we had won since we had been freshmen, and it was close to 40 or 50.
Just yours in the last 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
40 or 50 trophies. Wow, that's quite a bundle. Oh, okay. And you do 1 or 2 events a semester, I understand.
Yes, sir.
This one's in Hazel Green. Where else do you? Well, you're going in the spring or late winter. You're going to a regional event, right, in Atlanta. So again, tell us what that one is. I think you mentioned that was the event at Hazel Green, for example. You had Army as well as Marine events. The regional, you're just going to have all of the Marine ROTC events in whatever the region is. You know what the size of the region is?
Last year, the regional drill meet had about 10 or 12 teams there that we competed against. So it's just whatever Marine Corps ROTC drill teams there are within our region that's established by the Marine Corps, they can all go and compete against each other.
Your region would be obviously Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, I guess.
I believe our region goes from Tennessee to Mississippi to North Carolina and to Florida, I think.
North and South Carolina, probably.
Yes, sir.
And Florida.
Yes, sir.
Kentucky? No?
I don't think Kentucky.
Yeah, okay. You're sure enough southeastern region. Okay. And then in Vanderbilt, you're going to, or in, is it April or so, you're going to Vanderbilt? And is that just Marine, Navy and Marine?
Yes, sir.
It is. And from where? Where do they draw from?
They usually draw from Tennessee. I'm not sure how many Navy units are in Tennessee, but I know there are only 3 Marine units in Tennessee, so.
Well, you were there last year. You only had, is it just 3 or 4 teams present?
It's a much smaller drill meet.
It's much smaller, but much more competitive. That's kind of our big game at the end of the year. So that's the one we always try and do good, and especially since we've had a pretty good track record there, so like to keep the record going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won the event last year.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you're going to win it again this year.
Yes, sir.
That's why I like a good competitive atmosphere. Okay, well that, folks, we might as well take a short commercial break and we'll come back and talk some more.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
It's your trademark. That's something special everyone knows and remembers. It's your thing. It's made holidays special for decades and summers unforgettable for the entire neighborhood. It's made everyone laugh every single time. Don't let illness or injury keep you from doing your thing. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
I'm meteorologist Leland Statham from the News Channel 5 Weather Center. Look to Jim Fuller and crew for local news night here on Channel 6.
We're back, folks, today, and we're talking to the two senior officers at the Marine Corps Junior ROTC unit here in Tullahoma. They're a very competitive group, and they win a lot of competitions, and we've been getting the history up on that. These guys are very sharp, and they're very competitive, and they've been winning a lot of events, as we mentioned. They just the recent event in Hazel Green with 9 or 10 units there, and they won overall first place and 2 or 3 other first places. So, and Nelson, we haven't really talked about that. There's one of their activities you take, I'm not sure how large a part, but one we don't really hear much about, and that's Wreaths Across America. What is that?
So the Wreaths Across America program is a program that was designed to honor the veterans of past wars or current wars who have been killed in action. And each winter season, they all go out and they lay wreaths down on those veterans' graves. So here in Tullahoma and over in Shelbyville, we've participated in that the past 2 years.
Okay. Does that include Civil War troops?
Oh, yes, sir. It does. Any veteran.
On either side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's kind of nice to know. And you have, we mentioned, folks, well, let's talk a little bit about your activities routinely. You have a classroom every day for 1 hour, hour and a half, what?
About an hour and a half.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What are you studying typically?
It depends on what year you are. If you're a freshman, you learn more of the basic Marine Corps history, I don't want to say self-care, but, and then as you move up, it focuses less on history and overall readiness and focuses more on leadership education.
Well, you're in the program for 4 years. Do they run so does each year, freshman, sophomore, and so forth, their classes different, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Each class has a different curriculum.
Your instructors, do they do, between them, do they do 4 classes a day?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, between them, they do
3. They do 3 periods. Sergeant Major has the sophomores the first 2 periods of the day, and then freshmen the last period. And then Colonel Johnson has the juniors the first 2 periods, and then seniors the last one.
Okay. Well, they're pretty busy, aren't they? And then you do drills outside. Well, maybe not outside. Maybe you can do it in the gym. But you do drills a couple of times a week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And take us a little bit about that. Do all 4, all of the whole unit take part in the drills together, or are you separated by class there too?
on certain days of the week, we'll go and take the classes up to the gym or outside and drill them there and teach them basic drill. But the drill team itself, which is the one that we're the ones that won all the trophies in the competitions, the drill team practices about twice a week after school for about an hour and a half.
Twice a week after school, drill to have. The drill team is how many? How many of you are in it?
The drill team has about
13 or 14 cadets in it.
13 or 14?
Yes, sir.
Selected how?
Mainly, it's off of a volunteer basis.
They came the first day of practice and kept coming.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to, is the main thing to be willing to devote the time to it? Is that what really, okay. And I guess I didn't really ask, what's the overall size of the unit here for you all 4 years?
We have, I believe it's roughly 100 cadets, maybe give or take a few.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good size. Okay, and we were talking a little bit about your instructors. Introduce them a little better for us. Colonel Johnson, both of your instructors are retired Marines, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know who hires them, who pays their bill. I guess are they part of the school system? Is that?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah. And okay, so what's their overall role? Explain that a little bit for us. Colonel Johnson, how do you say what he does? Why is he there?
Colonel Johnson is there to help lead and develop the upperclassmen to be ready to take charge of the entire battalion like we have. Sergeant Major Ramirez, his role is very important because he sets the foundation for freshmen, for what they need to be doing, how they need to be carrying themselves, how they need to be acting.
He sets the performance standards. Huh?
Yes, sir, he does.
And appearance.
Yes, sir.
And behavior.
Yes, sir. Sets them very high, too. So.
True.
Okay. Well, Sergeant Major, he's tough, huh?
Yes, sir.
And that's what he's supposed to be. Okay. Anything else for either of them that's a little distinctive?
I would say they are the ones that help make the program, because if I didn't have those two individuals coming up through high school, I would be completely different. I would.
Same.
My thought process would be completely changed. Those two have just absolutely changed how I think, how I see situations, how I handle situations. There's no way to give them enough praise for making me into the person that I am right now.
There really isn't. I mean, these guys have shaped us over 4 years, where basically if I hadn't joined the program, I would be completely different, wouldn't even be thinking about the military or anything like that. So these guys take us in when we're freshmen, and 15 can't drive, can't do anything without someone's permission, and basically giving us a purpose when you're 15 and going through and saying, yeah, you can do it. So these guys are some of the best motivators, people that we've had in our lives.
I would guess that they probably could get credit for putting a little discipline in your bones.
Yes, sir. Sergeant Major Ramirez was a drill instructor for the United States Marine Corps at Parris Island.
And the DI is the meanest guy in the Marines.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Mean in a good sort of way, folks. Not that he mistreats people, but he's tough and very demanding. Well, very good. That's interesting that these two young men are giving these two retired Marines credit for developing their personalities along discipline and perseverance and a few other odds and ends. Okay. Well, we're coming down to the end, and I want to thank both of you for taking time to join us. They're here, folks, on the first day of their holiday for holiday break from school. So we appreciate them donating one of their holiday days to us. With that, we need to take a short commercial break and wrap up.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere. Russell's got your truck.
Keith Barnett here at the Russell Barnett Automotive family, and man, do we ever have your truck. 4 brands, hundreds to choose from, all at year-end discounted prices. So with so much to choose from, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
We're back, folks, and we've been talking today with 2 distinguished young men from the Marine Corps Junior ROTC program here at Tullahoma High. And they're a very accomplished bunch. I think maybe that, and we've heard the benefit of the program for them, might be worthwhile to get one of them to speak to the young folks out there in terms of what their program means. Landon?
All right. I'd just like to say that for any of you 8th graders, or mainly 8th graders, if you enjoy furthering your discipline, your overall joy, and your physical fitness, this is the program for you. I would definitely recommend it for everybody, and we will be coming by your middle school before you fill out your schedule for your freshman year.
I didn't ask you either. You got any females in your unit?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. We're about,
Definitely.
we have about 20 or 30 out of 100.
Out of 100. That's
Right.
pretty good. So the program is available to the girls as well as the guys. And with that, again, I want to thank you, lads, for taking time to join us. And you've done a good chore for us and given up a day of their holiday vacation. And that's Levi Burns and Landon Fanning. And thank you, folks, for joining us, and we'll see you next time.